Got a dopamine rush, got a major league crush when you're next to me. Got my heart upon my sleeve, can I hide the way I feel when you're next to me, girl? Got the kick in every move and I fall just like a fool for you, for you.
Hello and welcome to another episode of Interview with a Schizophrenic. Today I have Christian with me. Christian lives in Las Vegas. He's 18 years old and he has a diagnosis of schizoaffective disorder. Hello Christian, how are you doing today?
Hello. I'm doing well today. Just
That's great,
another
fantastic.
average morning here.
Okay, that's fantastic. So you're quite young, but tell me about how your mental health journey began. At what age did you first have symptoms and when did you get diagnosed?
Well, I guess my symptoms kind of. Uh, I'm schizoaffective, but the type of schizoaffective that I am is I'm bipolar type schizoaffective. So my
Yep.
first symptoms began as a little kid, but they manifested themselves in basically hypomanic symptoms. I would always have a lot of energy. I would do a lot of pacing. Like I would pace to an extreme. I would pace around somewhere between 4 to 6 hours a day, just around the living room over and over again. I was always really hyperactive, full of imagination, everything so energetic. But since a young age, I was also, depressed a lot. Uh,
Yeah.
it seems I always felt that I was broken from a little. For since I was a little kid,
Okay.
I always believed that there was something wrong with me. I guess thought I guess thought I wasn't fit for the world. I had no idea that what I was experiencing was, some chemical imbalance. I didn't even know what a chemical imbalance was back then.
Okay, fine. Fine. So, what age did you get diagnosed?
Well, I got diagnosed at age 16. It was in September, and it was on my second hospitalization at a psychiatric ward, and it was
Okay, fine.
September of 2017.
So how many times were you admitted to hospital?
I've been admitted to the psychiatric hospital 4 times. The
Okay.
first time was in, I believe, April of 2017. It's when I first had like started having a very huge psychiatric psychotic problem. I had
Uh,
entered a very extreme irritable state of psychosis.
how did you find the hospital? How
Well,
was it inside?
well, the hospital itself, I was actually involuntarily committed. I just kept getting really, really paranoid. I felt really paranoid. I felt really anxious. I couldn't
Yeah.
rest. It felt like if everything was just sinking into me. And I felt like everything was
Mm,
just starting to kind of like, it's really hard to describe, but everything started to lose its purpose, its sense,
mm,
its reality.
mm,
It was a very huge break in reality. It's like my subconsciousness was leaving my body, and everything
mm.
seemed to be sort of like in a third person point of view.
Okay, fine. What was it? What was it like inside hospital? Was it nice? Did you feel safe there? Um, were the doctors good? Were the nurses good?
Well, the first 4 days I was in the hospital, I was completely out of it. I had no idea what was
Mm,
going on, and I didn't even know that it was actually going on. I couldn't distinguish it uh, from reality or not. It just felt like the first 4 days just passed by. But then as it started going on, uh, I started, kind of coming back into my senses, and this I would describe the stay was pretty good, but it got really boring real quick. And what I hate about psychiatric hospitals is that they the temperature inside the psychiatric hospitals, it always seems like it's just wrong. It's not cold. It's not hot. It's right. It's the right temperature to just annoy you. It's terrible. They don't let you take your blanket out your
Mm,
room, and there's a
mm,
lot of people there. Well, it was actually quite fun experience at some points. There wasn't really much conflict, but there was a lot of outbursts from the other patients. One of them threw a chair at another person. It was pretty
mm,
wild. Um, it's
mm,
nothing like they show you in TV shows. You'd expect people in straitjackets, but no, it's just regular people with
mm,
issues inside of their body, and I learned a lot because all these people, they're good people. They're just broken inside their brain. The brain just doesn't function correctly, and they're just trying to
mm,
get by. Trying to deal with all their stressors. It was more like it's a group effort to try to help each other while we were in there. And the nurses were really
mm,
nice. They were really sweet, comforting, and everything. You gotta give them props for
mm,
I don't want to curse, but for all the things that they're put through, they're heroes. Like getting a chair thrown at you and then having
mm,
to like have a blank face, basically put a poker face on and not make them feel bad or anything. They
mm.
they really deal with a lot of stressors, even more stressors than some of the patients.
Yeah, man. That's that. You've got a great attitude. It's a lovely attitude you have. So, did they put you on medication?
My medication, my current medication, or the medication I started with?
Yeah. So, tell me about that. What did they put on you originally?
Well, originally I was given valproic acid. Brand name in the United States is called Depakote. It's a
Oh, yeah.
anti-seizure medication, but it also
Yeah.
works as a mood stabilizer. So I guess it kind of stabilized my mood a little, and that led to me
Yeah.
being declared safe to exit the psychiatric hospital. At that time, they thought it was just a brief psychotic episode because I had no idea of the other symptoms, so I never really brought them up.
Mm, okay. And so now your diagnosis is schizoaffective, what? Bipolar type. What medication you on now?
Currently, I'm still taking valproic acid. I take
Mm,
Seroquel, Cutipine, and
okay, fine.
I take Congentin. Congentin is for the tremors. I do get tremors, a lot of them actually, and I take Trazodone to help me sleep. And I believe that's all I take currently. But I've taken all
So you
sorts of
take
medication before.
a mood stabilizer, an antipsychotic, a side effect, something for the side effects for like the tremors, and a sleep medication.
Yeah.
Okay, okay. And do you have to deal with side effects? How have you been cope? I mean, they've how the side effects for you?
Well, the side effects, it ranges a lot. The typical ones, of course, are the tremors, eye twitches, um, um,
Mm,
kind of just sometimes when I take them, like a good half an hour to an hour from taking my medication in the night, I kind of just go numb for a while. I could sit in a chair just staring into nothing for a good solid hour. It it makes me so tired and so groggy.
mm,
I graduated high school last year, but the last couple months of high school, I was just kind of like blinked. I just couldn't really stay awake for much. So I found myself abusing energy drinks. 3 Red Bulls a day and
Yeah.
things like that, and it wasn't healthy. But I don't take. I try to limit my consumption of caffeine because caffeine could actually intervene with the chemicals inside of your body and make the medicine not work as accurately as the medicine is supposed to work.
Okay, so tell me, you were at school for a lot of this. Tell me, how did your friends react for when this happened to
Well,
you?
well, a lot of them were kind of confused. Like they didn't understand what it was and things like that. But a
Mm,
lot of them were supportive. But at the same
mm,
time, not everybody was supportive. I did face kind of like
mm,
a discrimination due to it,
mm.
and uh, an academic program I was in, they basically isolated me from everybody because I don't know, they were misinformed about it, and
So you thought
it really sucked.
so you thought that was unfair for them to isolate you.
Yeah, it's a good program, and I don't want to bash them or anything because they help out kids and
Mm.
everything. But I believe it was unfair, their treatment afterwards, and yeah, it's I think people need to educate themselves better and realize that this thing is not, it's not common, but it's not uncommon, and it's portrayed
Mm.
very bad in the
It's
media.
portrayed badly. Yeah. And how did your family react to you?
Well, they were surprised too, but at the same time, just like I thought that there was something wrong with me, they always knew there was something wrong with me too inside of my brain
Mm.
or body.
Yeah, I mean, it's not. I don't know. It's difficult to say to call it wrong. It's not wrong or right. I don't think. It's a condition which you have, but it's not as clear as being. It's not a physical condition. It's a mental condition. It's a condition of the mind and the spirit. So it's not. I don't think it's right or wrong or anything. It's just the way it is. Okay, so what are you doing at the moment? Are you studying, or are you resting at home? What's happening at now?
Well, last year during the fall, I started attending college. But since I live in the
Yeah.
United States, I kind of just when I entered my classes, because I was gonna study, I was gonna study for automobile technologies. But when I entered, I realized that the tools weren't provided for me. Since I wasn't able to afford any of it, I was forced to drop out.
Okay,
And
fine. So
yeah,
what are you
and
going
I
to do now?
also, yeah, I actually had a scholarship for but the tuition is expensive, but all the expenses of colleges aren't simply as a tuition. It's bigger than that.
Okay, fine. So what are you going to do now then?
Well, right now, with the coronavirus thing going on right now, the pandemic, there isn't many jobs here in Las Vegas currently. A lot of the
Okay,
places are shut down. Some of them are opening. Businesses went broke, and a lot of people lost their jobs. So I
okay,
guess when it starts getting better, I'm gonna find a job and I'm gonna work really hard. I'm gonna I'm gonna put myself through some sort of education program, but maybe a
yeah,
vocational school, because I want to
yeah,
succeed. I'm going to
yeah,
succeed.
definitely. What I think is, if you want to succeed with this illness, the best approach is to have a warrior attitude. Is is not you can be a warrior or you can be a victim. And if you're a warrior, you fight for yourself. You go after for what you want. You don't complain all the time. You go for what you want. I think that's the most important thing for success, and you can succeed um, with this condition. There's no reason why not you can't. You know.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree with you. It requires a lot of positivity. Sometimes I can't avoid being negative, but eventually I go back to being positive.
Yeah, that's
And
fine. I think you've got a good attitude.
yeah, recently I've been more positive, but that's probably because I'm starting to become a hypomanic. I was actually awake for 25 hours, but I fell asleep yesterday and I slept a good 5 hours and a half, and now I'm full of energy again.
Why don't you tell me what is hypomania?
Oh, hypomania is more of a elevated state of mind. It feels good.
Mm,
You feel like you could do anything you set your mind to.
mm,
You have all these thoughts inside your head, all of these amazing ideas and everything, but you can't. You, you have all these ideas and all these motivations. You have the energy to get up and start them, but you do not have the cognitive capability. You do not have the concentration to finish anything that you start.
mm,
It's really strange. It's like it's like writing it's like writing down half of a script and then not doing the rest of the script, trying to film a movie and not filming the movie because you're
mm.
just so full of energy and you can't concentrate, and you're thinking about this but you're also thinking about that. You're just thinking a thousand different things in your mind at the same time.
Okay, great. Um, so, Armin, what sort of hobbies do you like? Do you play computer games? Do you like music? Do you like sports? What sort of things do you like to do?
Well, I do listen to music quite a lot, but I like to also listen to stories, scary stories, or just
Okay,
life stories like encounters, things like that. I'm really interested in social sciences, more like behavior sciences, the way people behave, their
okay,
reactions. I like watching movies and I like discussing them with my friends. They're not that good at discussing them because they don't really like to look to, overthink things. But overthinking things is one of the things I'm best at. And I also spent quite a lot of time on Reddit, which is where I actually
no.
uh, found you. And
Oh,
I
on
guess that's what
Reddit.
I
Yeah,
mostly do.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah, I love
Okay,
talking to new people.
okay. Christian, I think we can close it now because the microphone quality is not that good, but I definitely like to speak to you again. Um, maybe if we can get a better connection, I'd definitely like to speak to you again. Maybe we can speak in a few months' time, and you can after coronavirus has finished, and you can tell me more about what's
Yeah,
going
sure.
on, and you can give us an update. Okay,
Yeah.
that's great. What type of music do you like?
Uh, kind of. I like pop rock. Pop rock is pretty nice.
Pop rock. Okay, cool, cool, cool. I'll play some music for you. Um, and yeah, so thank you very much for speaking. Taking the time to speak with me, Christian. It's an absolute pleasure. I think you've got a good attitude, and you've got to stay positive and enjoy your rest time now while the coronavirus is going on. And I'll speak with you soon. Thank you.
Good. Thank you. Have a good day.
For you, wish I knew just what it was, but why should I make a fuss? Just stay next to me, girl. Next to me, girl. Something special, don't know why. Something special that I like about you. About you. There's a mystery entwined, something bigger to define about you. About you. Am I the only one to see? Got me down on my knees, taken by your gravity. And I just know you got that something, that something. special about you.